All right, and this is part 2 of the introductory video to slope. So our slope is going to be related to graphs. Graphs are represented by equations. And here we are. The equation that we're going to focus all of our attention is y equals mx plus b. We must know the important meanings of these variables. Yes, we have been working with x and y for quite a while at this point. We know that x is our variable. A lot of times we are working on making sure that we're comfortable with setting up the tables and with x and y values and everything else. So what is new in this particular equation is the value of m, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and the value of b. Okay, so these two new variables are super important for our analysis. So m is representing slope, just like we learned on the flip side of this note. So the variable m is your slope. And then variable b, another new term for us today, is y-intercept. Y-intercept. So what we're going to practice on this side of our note is identifying where in our graph are the values that we are working with. Okay, so we are always, or at least for first few weeks, are going to have the same format of our equation. So when I say, does this equation looks like y equals mx plus b, you would say yes, because negative 9 is our m, 15 is our b. Okay, so in this first set of questions, we're literally just going to identify our values. So again, slope is variable m. Okay, so variable m is in front of our x value, so the slope is negative 9. Y-intercept is variable b, that means it's going to be 15. I want to make sure that you're really careful when you're writing down your values, because this value of slope is negative. So yes, when we graph it, we will have negative slope, negative equation, negative graph that will go, that will be falling from left to right. All right, next concept or next equation, we're going to stay with the odds for right now. So slope is the value in front of x, so slope is 3/4, and it's a positive value, so we would say it's a positive value, so it would be rising from left to right. Our y-intercept in this situation is a negative 10. So again, our focus is only to identify the values. Really high focus on the vocabulary today. All right, example 5. So m is the value in front of x. That means m, aka slope, is 7. And it's positive slope, positive graph. Y-intercept is this value right here. And as before, as I mentioned this, when you're working on these, it's a number and the sign. They go together. You can't forget this. 15. And in question number 7, we have, again, this is our value of m, negative 14, so it's negative slope, just like our value says. And yes, we also have a negative y-intercept. All right. Next part of this particular video, I would like for us to work in reverse. So as you can see on your even side of your worksheet, there are a whole lot of blanks. So we're going to reverse this process. What if you have a slope of 1/3 and intercept of 2? How does your equation look like? So let's go to the original format. Y equals mx plus b. Our values that we're going to always analyze, and we always need them for graphing, are these two, the value of m and the value of b. So this is our m and this is our b. So when we create an equation using these values, we do not need to worry about the y. We don't need to worry about the x. We only need to fill out or fill in the values of slope and y-intercept, the m and the b of our equation. So that's going to give me 1/3 x plus 2. And here's my equation. All right, let's do this again. And so I'm going to put this as -2, and this would be 10.5. Again, so what do I fill out again? Well, I only will have two blanks in the form of m and b, my slope and my y-intercept. So my -2 would be going in front of x, -2x. Yes, that would be negative slope. We're going to be working on graphing, and all of these values and all of the signs are going to be super important. And then y-intercept, the b value would be right here. All right, I would like for you to complete the other two graphs. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the slope and y-intercept values. All right, if you would pause this video for just a minute to see if you can fill out the equation, present the equation in correct form, and then unpause the video to see and compare your work and the actual answers. And here we are. So hopefully no troubles. Let me block this for just a second as we talked about our first scenario. When you have a negative value, your negative sign replaces the positive. So we do not write down right here plus a -2.5. We would just write -2.5. Okay? And the last example is super important. We've spent a lot of time in the first semester discussing how algebra really tries to make sure to simplify things to the best possible way. And so this right here is a really awesome proof of this, because when you have a slope of -1, a lot of times in your equation you will not see an actual 1. So in our slope-intercept form we would just write -x, but yes, it does stand for -1x, and then your y-intercept was positive, so we would write +7. Keep in mind, you still have all of your values. Your y is still a y. You do have a -1. We're just simplifying it. You still have an x. But in all of our work, if you just take a look at everything that we've done on this side of our note, you're seeing that m and b are the only numeric values that we really need to make sure to identify. these two values are going to be super important for us when we are going to graph these equations.